Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome to your life path for 2021 readings. So, before we go into it, a few words about the year, or should I say, about the energy of the year 2021. So, many of you will remember that when we got into 2020, I did a video for the year ahead, and I remember saying specifically to everybody, it was going to be challenging, it was going to be tough. There were probably going to be things that we weren't ready for, that we hadn't foreseen, so to speak, and here we are on the other end of it. So I want to put this little blurb at the beginning of each one of these videos, just to give you kind of an idea of the year 5, right? So when you consider that each number vibration is kind of like a response or a differentiation or a divergence away from the predecessor's energy. The 4 year was about restriction, limitation, challenge. It was about repetition. It was about sticking with things. It was about working through things. It was about, the 4 energy, the 2020 is a 4 year, is about, the foundations. It's about the things that are rigid. A box can either be used as a step to take you to the next level, or it can be used as a prison, right? It can, it has both functions. So on the other side of that, we've got 2021, which is a 5 year. The number 5 is about freedom, liberation, energy, being dynamic. It's about passion. It's about vibrancy. It's about the sensual and the sexual. The 5 year is often, in terms of the personal year 5, it's often been called the sex, drugs and rock and roll year. Now, obviously, I'm not, condoning the drugs part. I'm just, if that's your thing, if that's what floats your boat, then please feel free. What I'm saying to you is this energy is vastly different to the year before. Now, what does that mean? It means that you may very well want and need more travel, more adventure, more sex, more sensual pleasures in your life. You may want to try new things. You may be stepping out of the box, and we're going to see this across the board. Now, remember, 2021, it's the year for everybody, right? So regardless of what your life path number is, regardless of what your personal year number is, the energy of the year itself is the number 5. So what are the things that we're likely to encounter there? What's the big word, the one word that sums up the 5 energy is change. It is the energy of change, the energy of difference, the energy of liberation and freedom, as I mentioned. Now, things that we might need to be aware of. Currently, 2020 took away a lot of our freedoms. 2020 took us to places where we were locked down. It took us into this idea that we're not in control, that we're not in charge. That 4 was no longer a step. It became a prison at certain points. Granted, most of us were locked in our homes rather than like actual prisons, but you see the point that I'm making with that kind of energy. The 5 energy wants change, freedom, liberation. It breaks out of that box and says, this is who I am. This is where I'm going. This is what I want. I want to enjoy. I want to indulge in the world, right? I want difference. I don't want the same. I want everything and anything that is new, that is innovative. These are all wonderful energies, but what does that look like on the wider world stage? Everybody in some way, shape or form is going to want freedom and liberation. And if a lot of the things that were put in place in terms of our freedoms being taken away, in terms of, being told what we can and can't do, this is where 2020 could become quite a rocky year, because what you're going to see is the kickback. These things were put in place to keep us all safe. These things were put in place to keep us all well looked after. These things were put in place to flatten curves, to make sure that we were all in a good stead, for sure. I get that, but on the other side of it, how much is that going to be repealed? How much is it going to be peeled back? So the big question that now comes up is 2021. Freedom, liberation, innovation. We could be seeing new technologies, new ways of doing things. We could see brand new, like really advanced healing methods, ways of growing food, creating food. We could see a lot of this. We could see a lot of connection. We could see a big expansion of the understanding of not only connections between people, but also this idea of what it means to be governed from the top and what it means to be self-governing. We could see a lot of that, and the kickback may very well be that, you know, it starts to become a bit of an us and them. You know, you don't control us. We can make our own decisions. We can make our own choices. And the thing is, 9 out of 10 people, if they're left to self-govern, they tend to choose the right thing to do. You know, not because it's the right thing to do, but because everybody at base level is tapped into their own humanity. You know, you wouldn't necessarily go out of your way to hurt another person, you know, unless obviously there's things going on within you. Anyway, that's for another video and another debate. So what you're very likely to see over the course of 2021 is people looking to break out of the specific norms that have been imposed. You may very well see people wanting to change the rules, people wanting to find new ways of liberating themselves and also the people that they love, but also the masses. So you may very well see this kind of energy take place over then. 5 is a very restless energy. It's a very boisterous energy. It's lusty, sexual, passionate, vibrant. It's a number of the sensual world. So you could see a lot of this over the course of the 2021. You might see a lot of hedonism, whatever that means to you, come out. You might very well see people finding new this is the thing, I've said innovative like 3 times, but I can't stress that enough, because it's new, progressive, vibrant, passionate energy. You may very well see a lot of this. I think we're going to see a real advancement in ways that we can travel as well, because the 5 energy loves travel. It loves anything and anyone different. It loves anything and anyone that is foreign to what they know. People will want to try, more so than ever, people will want to try new foods, new food sources. I feel we're going to see a lot of this as well. Like, we recently had this meat-free burger thing come up. I think we're going to see a lot more developments in the 5 year over that kind of thing. I think we're going to see a lot, like a massive explosion towards health, vitality. I think we're going to see sports, all kinds of things around that. I think we're going to see big changes and big evolutions of. I actually feel like we might go in the direction as well where we're not necessarily looking at sort of like, oh, look at us, we're all focusing on the football league. I feel like it might sort of break apart, and you might see that the local leagues become a lot more important, or become a lot more, a lot more focus and attention is placed on those things that are happening locally, and you might see a lot of growth in those areas. I think there's going to be an explosion of health, fitness sort of stuff, and I don't think it's necessarily going to be because it's like, I need to get healthy, I need to look good. It's more going to be a case of, this is enjoyable, and if we can do it together, it's even more fun. So that looks like it's going to be great. But yeah, those are just some a few notes about the 2021 year itself before we go into your life path, your personal life path reading. So there is a link in the description box below. If you don't know your life path number, you will be able to find it. You'll be able to work it out, and trust me, I have dyscalculia, so if I can do it, trust me, you can. All right, just don't overthink it. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Now let's get into your life path reading for 2021. Take care, I'll see you soon. Hello, you beautiful Life Path 6 person. Welcome to your 2021 Taroscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and it resonates, hit that subscribe button. If you are already a continued subby, you know I love you for it. With that said, if you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can do so on the website address below. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So before we get into it, I have a whole bunch of information. If you are a Life Path 6 or you are cross-watching for a Life Path 6, don't forget to share. But here we go, right? So I'm going to delve into your Life Path number and how it interacts with the year 2021, which is a 5-year, as you will have seen from the blurb at the beginning. So this is a volatile energy. And when I say volatile, I don't necessarily mean hostile. I just mean volatile. It's very changeable. It's very different because your number 6 is a very different energy to the number 5, right? 6 is a bit more of a slower energy, but it's a bit more of an all-encompassing energy, whereas 5 is a little bit more off kilter and tends to be a bit faster. So this is a year that may bring a lover to you if you're single, if you're seeking a partner or a soulmate of some sort, and I don't say that lightly. You guys know me by now. If you're seeking that sort of, big romantic relationship, this is very often a year that can bring that to you. Or it may very well be, and this is because of your specific life path number and how that interacts with the 5. So this could be a year that takes you into teaching. It could be a year that takes you into mentoring, or even coaching as well. Now, this will be in a specific niche. It will be in a specific area for you. And you have a chance to really discover what that actually looks like to you this year, like what that actually means to you. What is the arena or the area of those things that really speaks to you? So the 5-year wants you to find new ways to teach others how to love you. This is really important. The number 6 itself is about responsibility to others, but it's also about the responsibility that you have to yourself. And because 5 tends to be a very self-focused year, this is trying to teach you how you want other people to love you, how you want them to interact with you, how you want them to connect with you, especially on a physical, sexual or romantic level. These are things that really will be coming to the fore this year, but you're finding new ways to do so. You're finding new ways to make those connections, and what that actually looks like is you needing to show people how you want to be loved, how you want them to connect with you. Showing people how to be responsible. This is a year for you to teach that to other people. You may very well be the 6 people. This year you may very well be the voice of reason. A lot of people might say, oh, wouldn't that be the 4 life path? Not this year. 4s are really going to be under it. You're going to see that. I think this is probably for them is going to be the most challenging year. I think your 4 people are in for a rude awakening. So if you know somebody that's a life path 4, let them know, right? And ultimately, this is about you finding new ways to show other people how to be responsible, not just for, for their environment or the people that they care about, but also for themselves. This is about finding new ways to live, right? So, whether this is changing something in the home, whether it's changing the home altogether, whether it's finding somewhere else to live or migrating. I think we're going to see a lot of this over the course of 2021. I mean, I think we're going to see really big numbers of people moving back and forth to various different places. For you guys, finding a new home or changing the current home, and making big changes in that current home. This could be a theme that comes up a lot over the course of this year. Finding new solutions to old issues. So things that you see other people, like if you want to start a business, this isn't necessarily the year for it, but what you could discover this year is a business model that absolutely fits you, that absolutely works for you, that absolutely sits with you in the right way. And it could be something that you develop into an amazing sort of long-term, not commitment, but maybe a long-term sort of business plan that ends up really taking off at a later date. This is the year to really find new, innovative, exciting ways to approach old or common problems, and solving other people's problems is a natural 6 attribute. if you can find new ways to approach old things, or things that people, tend to kind of want other people to solve, this year you could do really, really well, especially when it comes to creating that business model. Build new connections with your family. This is a really important one, because 6 is a very family friends orientated number. And so therefore building new connections with them, doing new and exciting things with them. The whole sort of sit at home, welcome people to your home sort of model, that might not be such a possibility over the course of 2021. It may be that it takes you out of your comfort zone. So you have to interact with people more, but in the world, right? So connecting with your family and your friends, but in ways that are completely different or completely new, and maybe even very exciting. Get passionate about enjoying your family and your children if you have them, or maybe get passionate about starting a family. If you have a family unit and you have, maybe you've done it all the traditional way, this could be a year where you decide, right, we're going to buy a camper van and we're going to go traveling for 3 months. Like, it really is that kind of energy. So the challenges that this year is likely going to face you with is about your relationship style. What about your relationship style needs to change or isn't working? Maybe what is outdated in the way that you connect with people. So, we've seen that under the energy of this year. Finding new ways to take expectations away from others, right? So this is a good one, because what this means is this is going to stop other people maybe relying on you so much. It's going to be more a case of you saying to people, right, let me set you up so that you know how to do for yourself what you rely on me to do for you. Whether this is your children, whether it's your employees, whether it is your clients, maybe it's even your people that you work with, and colleagues, that's the word I was looking for. It could change how you interact with young people, so your own children, kids, young people in general. You could have a lot more insight into those things this year. You could get a really sort of, almost like a peek behind the curtain of saying, right, okay, this is how they think, and this is what, maybe we don't understand. Because the thing is with the older generations, and it's the same for everybody, as you get older, it's not so much that you forget what it's like to be young, it's just that your point of reference for being young or being a young person comes from when you were a young person. And the world itself and the way that it connects and interacts has moved on by then. My parents didn't have the internet. So, when we had it, and there was so much that they maybe didn't necessarily understand. They understood the angst and the, all of the stuff that you go through as a teenager, but they didn't necessarily understand all of the, that world. So it changes for everybody. And this year you could get a real understanding of how that actually, what it actually looks like and how it affects people. Finding ways to change your home life, so you might find that your home life is interrupted this year. These are the challenges that you might face. Maybe something, knock on wood, but maybe something happens to the family home and you're displaced for a while, so you have to live somewhere else, or you have to live in temporary accommodation. What I will say to you is, whatever way your home life is disrupted over the course of this year, it will only serve to strengthen your bond as a family, as a unit. So in the long run, it's doing you a favor. At the time, it might be a complete, you might think to yourself, oh, this is a load of bollocks. I'd rather not be having this experience. But in the long run, you'll be like, yeah, you know what? It actually brought us closer together. Learning to delegate. This is something that's going to come up for you a lot. Life path 6 people tend to, it's not so much that they micromanage or they're overbearing, although those are things that can happen under a 6 life path. It's more a case of when you can see that somebody's kind of off course or they're not doing something the right way, you'll go in and do it for them. Whereas this year, you're going to be challenged to that. It may very well be that you don't have the time, that you don't have the resources. Maybe somebody calls you out for that behavior and says, look, you know what, just let me do it. So it might be up to you to say, right, okay, you know what, here's how you can do it. Here's one way of doing it, but at your own pace, in whatever way you like. Learning to be responsible for your own pleasure. this is going to be one of the challenges that you might face this year. 6 naturally wants to give pleasure to other people by cooking, cleaning, caring for, nurturing, nourishing for others, being responsible or assisting others. But this year you're going to have to be those things for yourself, which very likely means that you may very well find some sort of health crisis when it comes to your own physical body or your health needs. What you're being asked to do this year is to really take care of not only your own pleasure, but also your own health and well-being. So your blessings this year, you might become more intuitive. The reason I say that is because your life path 6 interacting with the year itself, which is the number 5, that combines to 11. So your intuition could really spike this year. You might feel it on a really visceral level. You might feel it in your physical bones, in maybe your gut instinct. Maybe all of that will be heightened this year. Pay attention to your dreams, especially. You might have an idea that ends up helping people on a global scale. And this is why I say to you, really, whatever your ideas this year, you might not necessarily have the energy to move on them, but this could be a fantastic year for you to have your big idea, that thing that ends up, going worldwide, maybe going viral, maybe, all of those things. The potential is truly there for it. So pay attention to any and all ideas that come to you over the course of this year. This is a year to venture far away from home, welcome strangers or foreigners into your home. So if you're not traveling to other people's homes to learn about other places, other cultures, other foods, all of that sort of stuff, the way that you can counteract that energy is by welcoming people into your home. If you have a spare bedroom, take in an exchange student, maybe get a lodger, like anything of that nature, somebody that is different, somebody that's, when I say a stranger, don't just invite like a complete stranger into your home, like, hi, come in and have some food. Although that is a life path 6, if they're being reckless, that might be, the scope of it. Throw parties where you invite people that you don't know, or you invite people that are different or foreign to you in some way, shape or form. It could be a really great energy for opening things up for you. Key pieces of advice for this year: let others come to you, and let others come through for you, right? This is a year where you're going to have to really let go and do something that's completely against the grain. It's a 5 year. It wants change. It wants freedom. It wants liberation. And sometimes at all costs. So, it's about finding ways to work with this energy so that it doesn't fight you. And the reason I say that is because if you fight the energy of the year, you'll lose. I've done it myself, I've done it myself. Just the memories that I have, I'm like, you know what, just go with it. So, I'm giving you this information, take it on board, that I have literally observed my numerological series of numbers over the last 10 years, and I've watched them play out in stark reality. So I can give you this information from personal experience. I'm not a life path 6, but, like I said, I was sat back and watched and observed how the numbers interact with my own energy. So trust me, don't fight the energy of the year, find ways to go with it. And one of those ways is let other people come through for you, which is a natural thing for you. It's like kind of the opposite to what's natural for you, but people will surprise you this year. So let them come through for you, let them be of assistance. And then also allow other people to surprise you, right? So 6s don't necessarily like surprises. It's not really in their remit. They're like, yeah, I prefer the tried and true. I'd rather not just wing it. But this year, that energy could be really exciting for you. So again, allow it to open up for you. So let's have a look, see at your year ahead. What is January 2021 bringing you? And this one, you get the Tower card, right? So first things first, as I said to you, don't fight the energy of the year. Your Tower card is change, liberation, freedom. This is often, very often, this card shows up when there is about to be a big change or a big upheaval in your life. Now, for some of you, for a select few of you, like I said, I really do feel like there's going to be something that happens with the home. Now, I'm not saying it's, you know, touch wood, necessarily going to burn down or anything like that, but there is a possibility that you could be uprooted. There could be some upheaval to the home. Maybe, you know, it can be anything. It can be anything that happens to the home that forces you to live outside, or maybe even in temporary accommodation for a while. To give that some context, you've got the Three of Swords. So January is going to see a completion or an ending for you, and I mean like a specific ending with either someone or something leaving your life, and it's going to be sudden. Why do I say that? The Tower card, shocking, sudden events. Three of Swords. The Three of Swords is about release. It's about loss. It's about letting something go. You know, and it's usually a separation, and it's very often it's a separation that hurts in the heart space. So this is something that you need to consider for the year ahead. January 2021, there is someone, some connection, or something leaving your life, and it will be for good. For February, you have the Star card, right? Now look at this for a succession. All right, so the Tower card is number 16, the Star card is number 17, right? And the Star card brings you the hope, optimism, joy, peace, you know, and that faith in the future once you've had that moment where everything just kind of goes haywire. So whatever happens in January, just know that not far behind it, over the course of February, not only will you be gaining more clarity, insight and wisdom into why that happened or what it actually means for your life going forward, but it's also going to give you a glimpse into the future, an understanding of why this has happened for you, what it actually means. It also means that you could be going, taking a business online. In some respect, it comes with the Eight of Cups. So for a lot of you, January and February, straight out of the gate, it looks like you're leaving either your hometown, maybe you are leaving behind a place that you've lived in for quite some time. It does look like this move is prompted off the back of whatever it is that takes place in January. Now, interestingly enough, I feel like a lot of you, this, and it's not going to be that suddenly all life past sixes just up sticks and leave. Of course not, it doesn't work that way. But it does look like a lot of you are having something take place in and around the home, and it might be something that completely uproots you. Now, remember, this is a 5 year, so it's not an energy that you're necessarily used to or comfortable with, but next year, that's where you'll come into your own, because 2022 is a 6 year, right? So it's a double hit of that energy. Currently, in 2021, the fives, they're the lucky ones, right? Because they've got a double hit of their own energy. It's what they're used to. So February does look like a time where you are either leaving a home behind, leaving, maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's a partnership, maybe it's a group, because it's the Star card. This could be a social circle. It might even be that as well. For some of you, it could just be a social circle or an environmental link or group that you are tied to no longer is right for you, no longer works for you. But it does look like a lot of you will be either changing home or having some sort of disruption to the home that sees you leaving or ending something there. For March, you have the World card or the Universe, which is great, right? This is beautiful because this is a new start and a new beginning. Whenever you see the World card, this is a change in status. It's a change for a select few of you as well. February could be where you meet somebody online. It could be, and for a few of you, this could be one relationship ends in January, and in February somebody new comes in, and there might be a part of you where you're thinking, oh, I don't really want to replace one with the other, I just need a break. But it does look like for a select few of you, that might be somebody that is truly special. It might be somebody that ends up meaning a lot to you. I say that because March is a change in status. A change in status that comes through with the Hanged Man, right? So your Hanged Man is about waiting, it's about stillness, it's about watching to see what takes place, watching to see what it is that comes up. Now, for the wider world stage, this does look like March might present some it might present some sort of slowdown for the world. So on the wider world stage, we might see another slowdown in March, but I don't necessarily think that it's going to be another lockdown situation. I actually feel like it's a lot of people are going to start to make bigger decisions about what we do on local levels and what we do, you know, as a collective. On a personal level for you guys, this does look like you're getting more serious about your spirituality over the course of, you know, March, and in March it does look like you're dedicating more time to spirituality. But also, for a select few of you, this is about taking up some form of study. Maybe you're deciding to go ahead with your tarot, numerology, psychic studies, all of that sort of stuff could be coming through for you in a big way. April, you have the Temperance card, so this is a continuation. Now, April will see you very likely looking for new places to visit, new people to contact or interact with. It will see you asking yourself, who do I actually feel aligned with? What is it that I really feel is a draw to me? Like, you could be looking out there in the world and saying, you know what? I'm going to go and see that. I'm going to go and visit that place. I'm going to go and learn why those people are, you know, into the food that they eat, or all of those sorts of questions could come up for you in April. And coupled with that, you've got the Harvest card. Now, this is actually the Judgment card. But here, coupled with Temperance, this is beautiful. This is a powerfully spiritual month for you, even more so than March. March could see where you're maybe starting a course in spirituality. Maybe you're deciding to embark on some sort of learning journey when it comes to spirituality. But April is going to be the power month. This could be a month of manifestations for you. On a personal level, this could be a blast from the past when it comes to, you know, people that you maybe met a long time ago. And I mean like a long time ago. This could be, you know, somebody that you met on holiday 10, 15 years ago, and then suddenly you reconnect with them. This could be, you know, that old partner that, you know, was always the one that got away. Or, you know, for a lot of you, this is going to be somebody coming back from your past that you never really got to finish with, that you never really got to have that final conversation, or, you know, ask why or tell them why. It looks like whatever it is, it ended maybe suddenly, or, you know, maybe in some respect. It's interesting as well, because following the path of this, I can kind of see that for a lot of you, one relationship may be ending here in February, and by the time you get to April, you could be meeting somebody that had left your life, and you'd always wondered, you know, where are they? What are they doing? How are they? You know, who are they now? Do they have kids? Do they, you know, do they have a dog? Like, you know, all of those questions that come up for that. This looks like it's very heavily focused on love for you guys. So I'm really intrigued. And it's funny because in your numerology, that's what seemed to be coming up as a trend or a theme. It's your connections to people that are changing now, and your interactions on a heart-based level. But yeah, April, very spiritual month, but also brings somebody back from your past, somebody that you're not expecting, but somebody that you had a true connection with. So April looks like that sort of month for you. I'm intrigued to see kind of what happens with it. For May, you have the Fool card. So new things, new places, new people, new energy coming through, which is nice. I mean, this is interesting because your Fool card is new everything, right? It's a brand new start, a brand new beginning, especially off the back of April. So whoever this person is, maybe you're starting something up with them again. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be a relationship. This could be an old job. It could be an old group or an old social circle, but it definitely looks like something that you're realigning with. May also brings you the Queen of Cups. So who is the Queen of Cups? A water sign woman, a Pisces, a Cancer, or a Scorpio. This will be somebody that features very heavily for you in May, somebody that may come up for you. For some of you, this could be, this could be a surprise pregnancy. It could be a birth. It could be, there's definitely a slant around children here, but it's also you traveling to meet someone or you traveling to connect with somebody. And whoever this person is, you don't know them yet. This is somebody that is going to come into your life and will just show up here in the month of May. So look out for this person, because you never know what they're going to bring you or what they're going to show you. Remember as well, your Queen of Cups as an experience. This is about learning to work with your emotional energy, or learning to transmute your own emotional energy, which is a really important part of any spiritual practice. June, you have the Magician card, right? So all up in your power. June is going to be a very powerful month for you. This is going to be a month where maybe something about your work, maybe something about this person that you meet takes your idea or takes your work in some new direction that can be really exciting. This does look like you are communicating really well, but also sharing a lot of your bigger or broader ideas. And I have to say, I don't know why, but I get this sense that probably around May or June, you will be traveling. This is going to be where you are not necessarily in the environment that you're used to. That's coupled with the Nine of Swords. So this asks you, or sees you, asking yourself the big question: is this what I really think? Is this what I really feel? And more importantly, am I ready to share this with the world? Your Nine of Swords can sometimes be worry, anxiety. Sometimes it's about you being in that space of wondering, you know, and because it falls there with the June card, with the Magician card, this really does look to me like there's something that you are waiting or wanting to say in June. There's something that you are probably wanting to share with the world. Maybe this is something you want to say to a boss. Maybe you're going for a promotion, or maybe you enter into a new role that you might be a little bit worried about. You know, do I have the smarts for this? Am I faking it till I make it? I don't necessarily think that you are, but you are in your head about it. So, you know, your tagline for June is get out of your head. July, we've got the Hanged Man, right? So that comes up twice, and the Hanged Man comes right under the Hanged Man the second time. So yeah, this year's definitely going to have a spiritual element to it for you guys. It's definitely going to have, now you could say that they all do, right, for everybody, but this one in particular is going to be March, April and July that really brings this up for you. July is a time for you to hang back. This is not a time for you to charge ahead with anything. It's a time for you to take a moment to observe. This is, you know, July needs to be a month of observation rather than action. June looks like a month of action. May looks like a month of action. You know, but July looks like it's more at a pace. So to give that some context, you've got the Six of Swords. So in this second third of the year, there is definitely travel coming up for you. Now, interestingly enough, you've got the Six of Swords, but on top of the Hanged Man. July looks like it's going to delay travel, and possibly for everybody. Maybe this is something that's happening on the wider world stage, but it does look like it's affecting you. Now, you will travel in July, but my feeling from this is your tendency is going to be to push. It will happen when it's meant to happen, right? It needs to be the right sort of way to do it. So whatever you're planning to do for travel in May, it looks like you're trying to make that happen in July, but it does look like there's some sort of a delay, there's some sort of hold up, there's some sort of almost like hold back. And I feel like this might be a global thing again, rather than necessarily like just a personal thing. August, you have the Moon card, right? So this could be a time where you are seeing, not only seeing through the illusions or the deceptions, but August looks like a month where you could be feeling a little bit disillusioned, maybe by the world, maybe by some interaction that you've had or not had, as the case may be, but it does see you looking or glancing backward over the past in some respect. And this is to do with the Five of Swords. Five of Swords is fraught communication. Now, whatever's taking place here in January and February, you may very well be revisiting or at least feeling the repercussions of here in August. Now, what I will say to you is, don't forget the Five of Swords is, you know, sometimes it's having to have that difficult conversation. Maybe this is you learning something about somebody that you were connected with, or an area that you lived in, or something that you were aligned with or connected to. It looks like you're gaining more information or insight about it. And I gotta say, even though you're probably in the right, it does feel like a part of you is going to want to fly off the handle. especially because this might very well have something to do with somebody close to you or somebody that was close to you. My advice to you is don't get into it. It's just not important enough. You know, obviously think about, you know, where everything was, but this is a time for you to take the rose tinted glasses off. So when it comes to memories, when it comes to remembering a relationship or a connection that you used to have, whether that's personal, professional or platonic, this is a time for you to really just say, you know what, I'll see it exactly as it was rather than how I would like to remember it. September, you have the Death card, right? So September is going to be a time for you to make that big decision. Something needs to come to an end, something needs to come to a close. And that has something to do with the Lovers card, right? Which is not just about choice and decisions. It's also your Lovers card is about relationships. So whatever or whoever is coming back here in August, September is the time where you decide that this isn't the right place, it's not the right space. Whatever relationship you are reconnecting with or is coming back into your life, you might be having some thoughts about that, you know, whether it needs to evolve. Now, the other big thing that's coming through here as well is for a lot of you that are single that meet somebody special this year, it's going to throw up a really big question. How far are you willing to move to be with this person? How far is that person willing to move in order to be with you? This is coming up for you over the course of this year and possibly in a big way. So for October, you have the Empress. So it does look like you are settling down, or at least finding that space of being more sort of settled, not only within yourself, but in your environment. And it comes with the Two of Wands, right? So if you were thinking or worried or conscious about money over the course of this year, October is your money month. This is where you're going to see finances start to boost. In fact, October is probably a good month for you to think about starting, or to start thinking about when you're going to launch your big business idea. When is that idea coming to you? Very likely going to be May or June. And it looks like June, you might want to put it into action then, but the energy just isn't there. All right. Whether it's sharing your ideas, going for a promotion, you know, being in that space, that's all great stuff. But your money month, where you're going to see physical, tangible results, you know, a boost in the finances, it's October. What I like most about this as well, it looks like you are interacting with, or interaction that you've had from a woman is going to come good. It's going to start to yield some of those bigger results for you. November, you have the Wheel of Fortune. This is nice. So Wheel of Fortune, blessings, abundance, synchronicity, moments of luck that seem to just find you or show up. And this has to do with the Ace of Wands, right, which is gorgeous. Look at this again. You've got this succession of numbers, the Ace of Wands next to the Two of Wands. Gorgeous. This is a fantastic time for you to start to write. It's a great time for you to start blogging. It's a great time for you to start looking at your creativity. And this isn't just about music, dance, art and drama. This is about creating something that you can be proud of, whether that's a business proposal, whether it is, a literary, you know, something that you write, something that you create. Maybe it could be anything. You know, when we talk about creativity, it's not limited just to artistic endeavors. Being creative is being creative with anything. And for a lot of you, this might have something to do with either wanting to build a new home. This is definitely possible next to these two cards. But maybe, just maybe, this is about you finally being ready to release your message or your story, which is nice. Really, really exciting. November looks like a good month for you guys. Now, it is possible, just with other readings that I've seen, November could be throwing something up on the wider world stage. So maybe this is about you having the time, the space, the energy and the resources finally, to start working on that big idea of yours. November looks like a strong time for it though. And then finally, December, you have the High Priestess, where something is revealed to you or something is spoken to you. This is a powerful time for intuition as well. And what's being revealed to you is your own inner nature. This is the Witch card, which is the same as the Magician. So you have the Magician come up twice. This is gorgeous, right? Because you've got a lot of this one energy. You've got 2 magician cards, which is 1. You've got the ace there, which is 1. So you've got 3 hits of this. And what this kind of says to me, especially with the high priestess with the witch card, or with the magician, is actually about spiritual workers, hoodoo workers, root workers, magicians, ceremonial magicians, people that do ceremony, people that are true spiritual workers in terms of actually having an actual practice. December looks like a month where, now I have to give it to you on both sides of the spectrum. This may be where you discover that somebody has been working on you, for you, or against you. It could be any one of those 3. Obviously, it depends on your situation. But this could also be a time where you are embarking on studies that will take you down that true magical practitioner path. This could be a time where this is really revealed. Now, on the wider world stage, this could be that something is revealed about a very powerful person. This could be a president, a royal. It could be any one of the above, or maybe just a head of a company or a CEO, etc. But December is going to be a month for you to look out for, because I feel like something big is going to be revealed to you, so to speak. So, for your key to the year, you have the Temperance card, right? So this is all about spirituality. It's all about what you're aligned with. It's all about where you truly put your energy and what it is that really resonates with you. What and who really resonates with you. And ultimately this year, if it's not truly aligned with you, if it's not truly on the path of making you, or rather on the path of drawing to you what it is that you truly want in terms of your life experience, this year it and they or you will be letting it go. So that is your 2021 reading. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up for you. I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic time. Take care, and I'll see you soon.